Hi guys, I'm Alex Lee, and today we're going to be doing a flower tour. So right here we have a evening sunflower. So this was a volunteer from last year, and it hadn't quite yet completely bloomed out, but it's working on it. And this type produces flowers along the trunk of the plant, or the stalk of the plant, all the way down in the little crooks of the leaves. I just love this flower. It's so pretty. Oh no, this is not a good sign. June bug. That's the first one I've seen this year. That's an uh-oh for the gardening. Now we're going to walk right over here to the flowers that I have up on the porch and my flower beds near the house. Here we have our greenhouse. I'm in my greenhouse right now. It's kind of small, but this is perfect for starters. This is what I started all my seeds in this year, and all my flower seeds and my vegetable seeds. And I'm storing some of my plants in here that love the sun and love the heat and humidity. So right here, I have my lemon tree. It was just one stalk during the winter time, and I brought it out here, and it has all this new growth up top. I'm so excited. Maybe next year or the next, I'll get a lemon off of it. Right here, I've got my ornamental pepper plant. This is very pretty. Maybe we can get a clip of the blooms. There you go. The blooms are so pretty. And the peppers are pretty too. They're pretty in black. And it has a lot of new growth. It's loving its life in the greenhouse. Right over here, we've got our white stacker pumpkins. I got these last year. It was sad, but I bought some pumpkins. I had to buy some pumpkins. I didn't grow them last year. That was very sad, but they were very pretty. And I had a white stacker pumpkin that was huge that I put on the bottom and stacked up pumpkins on the porch. So I saved some seeds out of there, and they're gorgeous plants that I just started from seed. I've got some marigolds and zinnias in here, and some coleus, and some more different, got some basil, parsley, some different other herbs in here started. And, you know, we always have to show the good, the bad, the ugly. We've got a Nandina, and a gardenia right here that I'm trying to rescue. So we'll walk over here to the porch and show you some flowers. So right here, we have some Coleus right here that I just bought. I bought this for 50 cents at one of our local stores. That was a good price. Right here we've got some hens and chicks, or Sempervivums. These I bought at our local store too, and I bought them in a big pot. Well, these are some cuttings that I took off of them, or I separated them. So right here's just a gorgeous flower arrangement. I've got some zinnias right here that I'm saving from Lowe's. We bought some clearance plants, and there was 3 or 2 of them that was already gone. But I thought, this is a healthy plant, so I'll just take it home and try to rehabilitate it. Right here is some polka dot plants. I've got them spaced out throughout the garden in places, and here's some spider plant cuttings I took from last year, and there's just a whole lot of craziness going on right here. But I've got some zinnias planted up here and all kinds of stuff. Right here is not the red plant. See, I just stick cuttings everywhere. Wherever I've got space, I just stick a little plant. But right here is the little ginkgo tree. Here's another one. But I got these from one of my friends, and this is a begonia right here beside it. Yep, it's already rooted. See? I accidentally broke one of my stems off of my begonia, and I just thought, well, I'll just stick it in the soil and hope for the best. Sure, it'll root. Well, sure enough, it did. So right here on the porch, or by the porch, we've got a little flower bed. These have got mums in here. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, these are fall flowers. What are they doing flowering in spring? Well, if you put them outside and they're not trained to bloom when they're supposed to in the fall, or when the greenhouse growers have them to bloom, they bloom like this in the spring, which I don't mind it. That's fine with me. I might buy some more mums from Lowe's during fall when they're actually blooming. Right here we've got some Wandering Jew or Tradescantia. I love the purple and gray variegation in that. Right here in the hanging baskets, we've got some petunias, these white petunias, and red mounding Mandavilla. I guess I better show right over here. I've got some craziness going on right here. Then right here was my 4-H project, container gardening. It's starting to lose its glory, but there's still a lot going on. My pink Mandavilla, this is the trailing type. As you can see, it's trailing on the bed frame. Is just now blooming. But these Armenia back here, these have stopped blooming. They're kind of done out of their glory time. But these petunias are just loving the heat in the summer. And here's some more pots. I just love the contrast. They look very similar, but in flower shape, but they're red and white. Yeah, the petunias is kind of taking over the Mandavilla in that. Right here I've got some snake plant, or Sansevieria. This is a normal Sansevieria, and this is a variegated type. It's got the yellow-white trim on the edges. I think it's gorgeous. We'll step right over here into another flower bed. Right here we've got our yellow rose. This has been here for several years, but it's kind of leaned out away from the trees in the house because there used to be a huge tree right here in the front of our house, and the sun comes up from this side and goes down over there. Well, it's kind of leaned toward that sun because it was shaded from that morning sun, and all it got was probably, I'd say, 5 hours of sun, and it wasn't full sun. So it's kind of leaned out here. So hopefully now that we got that tree gone that was tearing up the foundation, hopefully we can get that to lean back that way or send out new shoots that way. We've just got all kinds of stuff scattered abroad. But right here, here's the begonias in bloom. I showed y'all the leaves a while ago, but I love the red between the red leaves and the red flowers, and the hummingbirds just love this plant. And there's some yellow morning glory, or not morning glories. Oh man, I'm going crazy. Marigolds. Sorry about that. Marigolds in that pot. I ought to never say morning glory. That's the worst plant I've ever known. They'll choke out your plants in the vegetable garden. Those are shamrocks right there. I love the purple in the middle. Right here is some Dracaena. It's loving life right now. There's a purple one in there and a normal green one, mixed with all who knows what in there. Marigolds, creeping genie. There's all kinds of stuff planted in there. Right here we have some Lantana, which the butterflies love. This plant is not at its glory right now because the summer heat hasn't got here yet. And these are small plants. I just bought them the other day. But right here, I can show you a bloom. The hummingbirds love this plant too. The hummingbirds and the butterflies love this plant. Very good for your pollinators. Lantana is a very good plant for your hot summer growing conditions in your hot summer zones. Right here we've got some banana trees. These are your hardy banana trees. This is their second year they've been planted here, And they haven't done super awesome, but I'm pleased with them. They give a good tall stature, and hopefully I'll have a banana one day. We'll walk right over here. There's a few scattered flowers here and there. But right here we have some lamb's ear. I love these because I can just walk up and feel the leaves, and they're so soft. And then, like I said, I've just got flowers and plants scattered throughout my garden everywhere. If it needs to be planted, I'll plant it. Don't matter where it's at, it's just somewhere. But there's a polka dot plant right there. Right here in the tree, we've got hanging a begonia. Certain begonias can take full sun or full shade. That's what I like. It's very versatile in the garden. You can put them anywhere. I've got it hanging up in the tree because the hummingbirds like to come out here more than they do at the porch because they don't like humans. So I just stuck it out here where they could have their own little thing. Right here we have some, I think this is called Kiawani Rose. But all these little lime green color, as you can see, those are all new blooms that's fixing to bloom out. These plants are gonna go crazy. They want some shade, but they want some sun. They don't need to be in full sun, they don't need to be in full shade. Find some type of medium in between. Right here was my tulip bed. I got the tulips have already bloomed, and the Gladoyas have taken their place. And I, of course, got flowers, Kiawani Rose planted in there, just kind of everywhere. But the tulips have lost their glory, of course, because they're a early spring bloomer. We'll step right up here to the daylilies and tiger lilies. So right here we have a few daylilies. These were here when we moved into this house several years ago. I guess it's probably been 13 or 14 years ago. So that can show you how old these are. I just moved these daylilies. We had to move them because we wanted to clean this space up because it was kind of looking a little, it needed something. Needed a little cleanup. So we dug all these up and moved them out into the worst spot that we could have. But daylilies are so tough. They can handle pretty much anything. Full sun. They probably need some sun. They probably won't handle full shade. Or they probably won't bloom. They'll probably be a pretty plant, but they won't bloom. But we put them in the worst condition possible for us to clean this out, which was my fault. I didn't think about that. But it's all right. They're still alive. They're daylilies. They'll handle it. And I just planted them back this spring. They pretty much stayed out there a whole 2 growing seasons, I guess. I guess it was fall and winter. Probably summer, too. They stayed out there. And I planted them back this spring. And I just love how they just recovered so quick. And it's blooming already. Right here is their little tiger lilies that he was showing. These are not blooming quite yet, but they will bloom a similar bloom to the daylily with that big trumpet-like flower. And all these little black, almost look like little bugs on there, is their seed. And they'll drop these seeds wherever right here in this spot. And they'll multiply, just like the daylilies. If you leave them there long enough, they're more of a mounding instead of drop their seed. They don't really have seeds. If you wanted to create a new one, you would have to cross-pollinate them or hibernize them. We've got a few irises back here, which they've lost their glory already. They're about like the tulips. They pretty much fade out. But we've got, I think 2 of them are called Just Breathe. They're a more of a purple. They've got purple and white in them. Right here is a Amaryllis, which you all know as your Christmas flower that you can buy from Lowe's or Walmart or anywhere pretty much in Christmas time, any of your feed store or big box store. And I bought well, I didn't buy this. We've had this for years, this flower, and we've always had it inside. And it just kind of bloomed every once in a while. When it thought about it, it might be 3 years and it would bloom, but it would never really bloom at Christmas time. So I thought, I'll just put it out in the garden. It'll do better. It needed to be potted up, and it was already in a big pot. So I thought, this thing is just going to grow and grow and grow without me separating them. There's a lot of bulbs in there that I could separate them if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it there and let it do its thing. We're going to step down the driveway to where our Gladoyas are blooming right now. Those in the raised bed up there that you just seen, they're not quite blooming yet. They were planted a little bit later than these, a little bit later than they should have been to bloom this year, but they will definitely bloom next year. We've got a whole bankment of irises right here that bloomed. They were gorgeous. We've got a beautiful cedar tree right here that we're going to leave him. We're not going to cut him down. We like him. But you can see the old spent blooms of the irises. They were gorgeous in purple. Here's our dogwood tree that's probably 15 years or more old. And right here is our Gladoya patch. So right here, these are going on second years, or they're on their second year. And I just love them. They're so gorgeous. And they're a early summer bloomer. They bloom after your irises and tulips to be a bulb plant. And as you can see, look at all these plants that it's creating. So many new plants. I can dig these up and put new ones in here. We also have very fresh new dogwoods planted in here too. I'll hold this one up. The only problem I have, that's so gorgeous. I love the peach color. The only problem with Gladoyas is they kind of lay over because they get heavy. These blooms get very heavy. And when the rain or wind comes, it'll just blow them right over. So you can stake these up, and that would probably be the best bet. But I like them just like this. They're so gorgeous. Down here we've got some elephant ears that my grandma gave to me. See, this one's about had it. See, just snapped right off, which is about done anyway. He could probably use a trimming up. I usually come after they've done bloom. This is a new bloom that hasn't bloomed yet. It's pretty too. I kind of like it. But we've got several Gladoyas planted through here, as you can tell. Right here we've got some elephant ears that my grandmother gave to me. So I thought I'll just plant them down here where it's kind of bald. There's nothing that really would grow down here that would be good except your shrubs and stuff. So I thought these will add a good unique texture and look to down here. So I thought we might as well plant them right here. And there's a few scattered throughout this property. There ain't no telling with me. I'll always to plant a plant wherever. So there's your flower tour, your end of spring flower tour. Right here we have our little assortment. I told y'all I put flowers and plants wherever. So I mixed these flowers. I love this neon pothos. It's a slow grower, but I love the color and the bright color of this against this dark Tradescantia or Wandering Jew. I think it's actually called a Tradescantia zebrina, this specific kind, because it has this gray. Let me find a better leaf right here. It has that gray vein in it. But I just kind of, these both need the same care, but I keep this in the shade on our porch, in full shade, because the pothos don't need hardly any sun. But these both need the same watering and light, so I thought I'll just stick them on the porch during the summer, and that'll be fine. My crazy ideas. You never know with me.